ble Arne Næss junior bisatt i Holmenkollen kapell. Familie og venner tok avskjed med eventyreren, som omkom i en klatreulykke i Sør-Afrika for vel en uke siden. Superstjernen Diana Ross var gift med Arne Næss i over 13 år. I går kveld fikk tabloid et intervju med henne på Grand Hotel. Og det første jeg spurte henne om, var hvilke følelser hun satt med etter bisettelsen.
Well, it was a very difficult day. It's been a very difficult week, actually, for me and my boys. My sons have had a very hard time. It's been a great loss.
Mm-hmm. How was the ceremony at Holmenkollen today?
It was very hard. It was hard because, well, first of all, it was hard because it's a loss. But I know that so few of his friends were able to be there. And that choice was not my choice, because I know that so many of his friends wanted to be there. But it was decided that just the family and godparents, the children and godparents, would be there. And that was the choice that was made. But it was beautiful. It was a very beautiful day today. And there was a rainbow as we approached. It was a sunny day, and there was a beautiful rainbow today. It was a lovely day today. Douglas Meyer said some beautiful words, and his daughter Katinka said some beautiful words, and my son said some beautiful words. So it was a beautiful ceremony today.
How will you describe Arne Næss as a person?
As a person? Extraordinary. There's many words to say him. He was a great mountaineer. He loved the mountains. He loved the snow. Great Norwegian, an adventurer. So many words. In fact, Douglas said so many things about him that were just right on. We had to smile because he said just the right words about Arne. He would debate certain things, almost every subject. He would argue many things. He was charming. He was a man's man, a lover, so much, a romantic. So many wonderful things about Arne. A great businessman, not afraid of anything, fearless. You would never think anything could ever happen to him. And he will be missed. He will just certainly be missed. And my son just said, my youngest son said, you just would never think anything would ever happen to Dad. Just never would.
Many of his friends says that he was a person that cared about other people.
Yes, it's true. Part of my upbringing, we were always so busy moving, and he would always remind me to send messages and not to forget, and send a letter and a thank you, and he never forgot. He was just very good at remembering and being there for his friends, and he's a very special man, and it was a gift. He was very special. And I knew that he'd never forgot Norway, because he was always here for his mom, for Kiki. He was always here for Farmore. And I know that she said to me, she said, my son's going to be here when I take my last breath. And he was here. And I knew he would be here. And, you know, he's Norwegian, and I know he would be here. And I just know he'll be missed terribly. And when I arrived, and the driver picked me up, and he said, you know, Arne Næss was a great man. And I said, I know. You know, so even the drivers and the taxi drivers, and he was inspirational, and people knew him. And that makes me feel good. It makes my sons feel good. They were in the car with me, and they feel proud of their dad. And I am proud to have been a part of his life. he brought things to my life places that I would have never gone. I would have never gone to base camp of Everest, and I would have never met Sherpas, and I would have never gone to places that I would have never, I mean, I've traveled places, but not the places that Arne took me to. And I met people that I would have never met. He brought things to my life that I would have never known. And he laughed at me because I didn't like the cold. See, he would laugh at me and I would shiver. I mean, my teeth would chatter, and he would just laugh at me because I didn't like the cold. And I would put clothes on, and he would ski backwards because I couldn't ski. And, you know, he would laugh at me all the time. But I think he thought it was cute. And when I couldn't ski down the mountains, he would put me on his back and ski down with me. Because I'm a featherweight. I don't weigh very much. So he would ski with me on his back down the mountains. And I just, you know, I will truly miss him. But as Katinka said, he's always there for me, because as I look at my sons, I see him. My sons have his body, and I see his ski jump of a nose. They have his. You know, he's there in them, and they have his spirit. And my sons love adventure the same as he does. And the mountain climbers, the Everest climbers, were there today, and they promised to keep this inside my boys. And Eric Klaveness and Bjorn, they promised to keep my boys here in Norway and to make sure that Norway is a part of their lives. And I promised to make sure they stay here, to always come back. And you guys have to help me.
Sure.
Bring him here.
Where did you meet him?
We had a very magical meeting. It was very romantic and very magical. It was right after he came home from climbing Mount Everest. He took his 3 children to the Bahamas, and I had been on tour, and I took my kids down to the Bahamas, and there was nobody in the swimming pool, and the kids met first in the pool, and I was sitting at the pool with the kids, and I had a big red hat on, and this guy walks up and he said, "Can I sit next to you?" And I didn't look up, and I said, "Sure." And he sat next to me, and then I look, and I didn't pay much attention. And then the kids went out to the beach, and then the next thing he walked up to me and he said, "You've been with the kids all day, can I take them to dinner?" And I said, "Sure." And then it rained that night, and I finally went to dinner as well. And that night, I think we fell in love that night, because we sat next to each other at dinner, and then it was like a movie, because we lost the room. There was nobody else in the room except us. It seemed that way, because we were so mesmerized by each other. It was a fairy tale love affair, and it was more than a marriage. I think it was a love affair. It was almost 15 years we were together, and it was a love affair, I think.
May I ask you, why did you fall in love with him? What was it that attracted you to him?
You know, I don't think you can ever explain these things. Don't you think it's a chemical kind of thing? I think passion and those things, it's not something that's explainable. It's something that you feel. It's something that you feel next to your skin. I don't know that I can explain it. It's something I felt. It's something I think he felt from the moment we met each other. He touched me, and I got goosebumps all over my skin, and I didn't know him. I didn't know anything about his achievements in his life, and he didn't know anything about my achievements. He didn't know my music. In fact, I think Christopher had said, "Don't you know who that is, Dad?" And he said, no. He had never heard of anything I had done, my music, and I hadn't heard of Mount Everest or anything that he had done. And we just, 2 people that met that had a connection, and it was very special.
Love at first
I knew
sight.
that I would see him again. We exchanged telephone numbers then, and he passed through New York, and he was on his way to California, and we saw each other again, and sparks. The rest is history. We married within the next couple of months. We married because we both had no more time to waste. We wanted to get on with our lives, and we married right away.
But then you had a great wedding in
We had
Switzerland.
the Fairytale wedding in Lausanne in Switzerland, yes. I had had a marriage before, and he had been married before, and you know, we were, I think I was, you know, just ready to begin my life with him, and it was very special.
As you said, it was a fairy tale marriage.
Yes.
Wedding.
It was a romance.
How will you characterize...
It was a love affair.
The whole marriage was a love affair?
Yes, it was. It was a love affair.
Okay, how was it coming to Norway? For he was a Norwegian, as you said.
How was it?
Yeah, coming to Norway.
It was good because, as I said, you know, first of all, I love his family very much. First of all, I love his mother. I loved his mother very much. She taught me a lot. She was very wise and taught me a lot. And I love Sture Arne, Uncle Arne. He also taught me a lot and still teaches me a lot. So the family unit, I'm very much a mother. So I'm a family person. So I just kind of pull everyone in together. And the kids were very good together. They started doing something like the Brady Bunch. They called themselves the Rossness Bunch. The Rossness Bunch. And so it was just good together. And coming to Norway was good. Yeah.
What was your first reaction when you heard about the accident in South Africa?
I'm very intuitive, and I have, like, I don't know if it's the sixth or seventh sense, but at this time I had a feeling there was a very strange, almost negative energy around me, and I was trying to explain this to my daughter, and I said, Rhonda, it's a good thing that I believe in prayer, because something's happening and I don't know what it is, and I think if I pray maybe it'll go away, because something's going on. There's an energy that I'm not understanding what's happening, and I'm not happy, and I took to my bed. My other daughter called me and she said, Mom, do something good for yourself today. And I said, I don't know what to do. And I said, maybe I'll wash my hair. And then maybe an hour or so later the phone rang, and it was Christopher. And I said, no, don't tell me. It's as if I knew. And the first thing I did was call my daughter Rhonda to come to be with me before I went to get my sons home from school, because I didn't want to tell them by myself. So it was very difficult. There's no way to tell your sons these things. We got right on an airplane and came straight to London to be with the older kids, Katinka, Christopher, and Leona. Because as a parent, they're my children too. And I needed to be with them to put all the children together. And I needed to be strong for them. And I am strong. But the only closure that's going to be for me, I guess, is time. That's the only closure at all, I think, there can be, is time.
How will you remember him?
As I said, is through my children. And I think of him a lot because there's words that he says, things like, well, 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 or the sound of how he walks. he makes noise when he walks. And I think of little things that Arne did. I think of these things all the time anyway, you know. So there's many things, many little things that are personal and private to me. And you know, as I see my sons, they do things that will always remind me.